Hey guys, it's Chad again. Just wanted to go ahead and give you an update on part 2. So, really getting the automatic out, there's nothing really special that you're going to miss. You got to undo all the bolts, all the wiring, etc. And a few connections holding on your fuel line here. Be careful, make sure you get both connections off for the automatic transmission. Because I thought there was only one, apparently there was two, and I managed to bend this pretty good, but thankfully it's flexible and it bent back. So, as you all can see, the clutch is installed. Brand new components and everything, from pilot bushing, pilot bearing, to the actual clutch plate itself, and etc. So, for the hardware that I used for mounting the flywheel, because I never like to reuse hardware. It just doesn't end well for me. I've had several bolts break in the past. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys on down. I'll show you what I found. If you use the flywheel bolts from a Chevy/Ford setup, the pitch of the bolt is the same. Now the only concern though with using these would have been the length. And I watched Lobuck's Garage video on installing the flywheel, and I don't know which bolts he used, but the ones that he had were too long and he ended up cutting them shorter. These, on the other hand, Mr. Gasket, parts number 912 at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. I'm not sponsored by them, that's just where I got the parts from. These are not only the right pitch, but the right length. The bolts are just a smidge long, but they don't interfere with the actual engine block themselves, and I'll show you right now here in just a moment. So again, this part number here, Mr. Gasket 912, that's going to be your flywheel bolts. And then as for the pressure plate bolts, those are going to be 3/8 by 16, and I opted for the 3/4 inch size because I know these guys are usually not very long. Now you do need to remember that these bolts do go through the backside of the flywheel, so they could optimally end up hitting your your crank position sensor. So I opted to go with the 3/4 inch bolt. You could probably get away with a 1 inch, but I would recommend using the 3/4 inch because once everything is torqued down, there's no interference on the backside. I can actually feel, like, I can still feel space in the back of the flywheel. So that all worked out pretty good. So let me go ahead and show you all the clearance on the back of the crankshaft here of what I was talking about. Oops. Come here. There we go. As you all can see, the tolerances are tight, but they clear. And I've rotated the engine all the way around enough to find out if any of these bolts are actually going to hit, and they don't. You've got maybe like 30, maybe not even 30, like 25 thousandths clearance, but that's all you need for it to clear, because I was not only able to get these to torque to spec, but everything else fits too. So I highly recommend these bolts. If you want to go a little bit shorter, you always can, and just use regular grade 8 bolts, but these are specific for flywheels. So I'm going to stick with these and call it a night. And on that note, I will let you all know what I'm going to end up doing with the exhaust, because I know that's a problem. Apparently the late 1980s to 1991 or 2 Dodge B250 van, which also got the 5.2 liter V8, came with a center dump exhaust manifold on the driver's side. And supposedly, from what I can tell, it looks like everything's going to match up just perfectly. The only concern that I have is that the collector on it might be a different diameter than what I have on here currently. Because if that's the case, then I'm going to have to figure out another solution, because I'm in California. I don't know if I can have a header on just one side for smog purposes. So if anyone's got any ideas, I would be more than happy to hear them. But in the meantime, I'm going to order that exhaust manifold and see what happens. If it has the correct diameter for the collector, then I'm in good shape because I can just reroute this part of the Y pipe and call it a night on that, and then the transmission will go right in and I can run the starter and everything else. One other thing I would like to note for you guys too is that my Dodge Dakota donor truck, it's a 1999. Obviously it has the NV3500, but it has the NP231 DHD transfer case, and essentially what that means, it's the heavy duty application instead of the standard NP231. Now, in the next video, I'm going to be going over the differences between those two transfer cases and what you're going to have to do to get everything else to work correctly, including your speedometer readout. So stay tuned, everyone, and I hope to give you an update here pretty soon. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.